Hey everybody, welcome back to the Five Dudes with Views podcast. This is going to be the fourth in our mixed bag series where we can talk about whatever we want to talk about. I'm going to do a segment, Brad's going to do a segment, and Ted, Brett, and George are going to do their own segment. And it's something we like to do from time to time to kind of mix it up a little bit. Here's our theme song. Hit it.
Five Dudes with Views. Five Dudes with Views. Five Dudes. Five Dudes with Views. Yeah!
Hey everybody, it's Billy, and this is The Stew, where I talk about things that I want to talk about, and it's all over the place, and it's got a whole bunch of elements. Welcome. I just wanted to do a 2021 kind of recap, and when I was doing some research for this little Stew segment here, I kind of realized that 2021 kind of sucked. Due to obvious reasons why it sucked. But I mean, let's just start in TV. I feel like obviously we've talked about TV in the podcast and how much better it's been than movies. I don't see that this is a down year at all. I feel like it's been a pretty good year. Some of the highlights of the year, I'm a big Pen 15 fan. I'm sad to see that it's ending. It's a great show. I like those characters. Squid Game, I was late to the game on that, but I watched it, and it was enjoyable. Wasn't as violent as I thought it was going to be, but enjoyable. Bosch, I'm a big Bosch fan, and I'm glad that it's continuing in another kind of version of the show, and I'm excited to see where that show goes. I kind of like Yellowstone. I think I kind of just watched it out of being bored and nothing else to watch. I really like Kevin Costner. I don't think Kevin Costner gets a lot of due anymore. I think people kind of forgot about Kevin Costner, but he's a solid actor. And it's a pretty good show. I like the characters. Got some good actors in there. Old Cole Hauser and Wes Bentley, even though he's the worst part of the show. And the girl who plays Beth is great. And she was in, I believe, True Detective Season 2. Terrible. But pretty good show. I'm going to stick with it. I Think You Should Leave Now, Season 2. It wasn't hilariously funny, but there were definitely some moments in there, especially the guy who gets into the costume and decides he doesn't want to do the show. I've watched that one episode like at least 20 times. There is a show on HBO called How To with John Wilson. If you haven't seen it, it's hilarious. Please do yourself a favor and watch it. Shows that I watched that I just really didn't like. 9 Perfect Strangers. I mean, I don't know. I kind of liked that it was had a lot of great character actors in it, and it was kind of focusing on depression treatments like LSD and mushrooms, which is kind of a thing that's happening. And but I don't know, it was okay. Ted Lasso Season 2, kind of a letdown for me. I thought the first season was great. I don't know. It just kind of felt a little stale. The Morning Show, I liked the first season. Second season, probably doesn't need a third. Goliath, a show that I usually love. Anything with Billy Bob Thornton I love, but this season was just kind of, I don't know, kind of an afterthought. Not really much going on with that show. More letdowns. Let's keep going with the letdowns. Curb Your Enthusiasm, not a great season. God, I hope at some point they just give Leon his own show. That's really the only thing I look forward to seeing anymore. The new Dexter series, not terrible, but just kind of one note. I don't know, just not great. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I love that show, but I think it's time to stop. I think they probably should have stopped 2 seasons ago. I do like listening to their podcast, though, where they go back and talk about the episodes. That one I like, but the other ones, like The Office re-listen and The Sopranos re-listen, like I don't think we need to go back and dissect every show. That Beatles documentary, I realized I don't love the Beatles that much. Like, I don't want to sit there for 9 hours and watch a band do an album. Just me. Sorry. Just me. Shows that I stick with and watch. You're probably not going to like. I like the Real Time with Bill Maher. I like Shark Tank. I like John Oliver. Those are my steady shows. The shows that I look forward to watching are Cobra Kai, which I think just got released on Netflix. Ozark, the new season. And the new season of Bosch. big Bosch fan. Man, I really got depressed when I started looking at movies of the year because I realized I haven't seen anything. A lot of the movies that I wanted to see, I just didn't go see, and I thought I would just wait when they came on streaming, and they did, and I still haven't watched them. I did see Nomadland, and it was okay, and I watched Don't Look Up, and it was okay. I do want to see Licorice Pizza. I'm a huge PTA fan. I will try to see that. I wanted to see Dune. I wanted to see Ghostbusters, Quiet Place 2, Minari. There's so many movies that I want to see. I'm going to try to get to them. I don't know why I even build queues anymore because I don't watch anything. Music. I really don't have anything to say. I feel like a lot of the music I listen to is music that's not new or relevant. It's a lot of the older stuff. But I do always want to give a plug to the Chris Gaines album. It's really good. And I think Garth Brooks should play some of those songs. I mean, dust them off a little bit. Could be fun. I also wanted to say, I just watched a Kenny Rogers tribute. And I know that he didn't die this year. He died the year before. But, man, Kenny Rogers in the 80s looked pretty cool. Like that hair, that beard, those country outfits, especially when he was doing those little concerts in the round. Holy crap. That dude looked pretty good. It also made me want to go back and watch the movie Six Pack. I think I really remember liking that movie a lot. Anyway, so I bought a house. And I realized this year some of the pains of owning a home as like getting stuff done yourself or calling people to do it, but mostly looking on YouTube and trying to fix things. So I'm trying to make my house not fall down into pieces. So that's a thing that's happened this year. Also, a lot of people ask about Iggy, my cat. He's fine. He's temperamental. He is probably bored of me, and I don't blame him. I would be too, but he's good. Movies that sucked. I probably want to give the worst movie of the year award to The Saints of Newark. Man, I was looking forward to that movie, and man, did it suck. 2 Ray Liotta's? Really? I mean, okay. The Little Things, the Denzel Washington, Jared Leto movie, that was just awful. Awful. And Coming to America too. Like, just should have stopped. Just stop with the movies. I didn't see the Bill and Ted movie. I heard it was awful. I don't really care about seeing The Matrix. I'm sure it's not great. I mean, these movies that they take 10 years to make sequels to, by the time they get around to it, no one cares. Look what happened to Dumb and Dumber 2. It was fucking terrible. Stop with the movies. Oh my God, if they ever make a Goonies 2, that's it. That's it for me. I did go see one concert this year. I did go see, and I know you're probably annoyed at this, the Dave Matthews Band, show number 47 for me. So I'm trying to get to the 50 mark. Hopefully they'll tour again. They usually do every year. Now let's get to the deaths. We did have a few deaths this year. Recently we had a big one, Betty White. She almost got to the 100 point. She's a very sweet lady. Big Golden Girls fan. Norm Macdonald was a huge one. I love Norm Macdonald, man. I actually got a chance to see him on SNL when he was doing the Weekend Update, the Giuliani episode. But man, his stand-up is so fun. He was just a really fun guy to watch, and man, so sad. Michael K. Williams, such a good actor. I mean, huge fan of The Wire. I never got a chance to see Boardwalk Empire, but just anything he was in, you wanted to watch it because, you these guys who are these character actors, some of them they bring a punch every time you see them. Man, it's great. What a loss. Charlie Watts from the Stones, a loss. But, it had to happen. We had to lose one of the Stones. I mean, they couldn't just go on forever, keep doing concerts and everything. Everybody else is losing people, like the Monkees. Michael Nesmith just died, and that's sad. There's only one monkey left. I got a chance to see the Monkees twice. One when Davy Jones was alive, and it was such a fun concert. And the other one when he died and Michael Nesmith took over, and it was boring as shit. I do like Michael Nesmith, though. I do like the Monkees, and they're always going to be a great band, in my opinion. But rest in peace, Mike Nesmith. Another musician, Biz Markie, obviously, fun guy. Sad he died. DMX, pretty good rapper. I think I had a couple of his albums, but, sad. I know he had a kind of a tragic life. Couple other mentions there. Charles Grodin, Midnight Run, a lot of other things. Always deadpan and hilarious. He was a good dude. And Tawny Katane. Everybody remembers Tawny Katane. Anyway, I hope 2022 is going to be a better year. I know everything's crazy and everybody's getting panicked again, but I think we'll make it. We're looking forward to doing more podcasts this year and bringing some fun. And we always like listening to people tell us what they think about the show, leave us some comments. And we'd love to have some suggestions for topics that we haven't thought about yet. I mean, we have so many things to talk about. Let's send us some suggestions. Send us some things. Anyway, that's my stew. I know it's probably cold by now, but anyway, I'm going to toss it to Mr. Brad.
All right, thank you very much. It's wonderful to be here. Look out to see everyone's smiling faces. Everyone is feeling good? Thank you very much. Well, you know, now that we've gotten more intimate with each other, feel more comfortable, I'd like to proceed with what I'm about to do. They told me that since there was only about 20 or 25 minutes left in the show tonight, that since I've been on several times before, they trust me. The producers and the people who run the show said they trust me very much and that they would let me do anything I want and I could have the rest of the time if it takes that long. So I was wondering what to do. What could I do in this to fill up this 20-25 minutes? And could I sing a song, do a dance? Then I thought, well, you know, before I've been on the show, I've done characters, you know, like the little foreign immigrant. He goes, thank you very much, I'm very happy to be here. You know, and then I've done this American character. He goes, hi, I'm Andy, and hello, how are you? Oh, the cow goes, move, you know. And I thought instead of doing that, why don't I just come out and be straight with you and just be myself? So that's what... So anyway, then I thought, well, what should I do? What should I do? I was at a loss for what to do, to fill up the time. So I saw this book. It was lying just a little while ago. I saw it lying around, and it reminded me of when I was in school, and this literature teacher gave me this book, told me to read it, said it was the greatest American novel ever written. And I take issue with that. I don't believe that it is. But what I'd like to do is tonight is I'd like to read it to you, and then perhaps you could point out some subtleties I might have missed in case, you know, if we have time to follow for discussion. So anyway, it's called The Great Gatsby. It's by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and here it is. Chapter 1. In my younger and more vulnerable years, my father gave me some advice that I've been turning over in my mind ever since. Whenever you feel like criticizing anyone, he told me, just remember that all the people in this world haven't had the advantages that you've had. He didn't say any more, but we've always been unusually communicative in a reserved way. And I understood that he meant a great deal more than that. In consequence, I'm inclined to reserve all judgments, a habit that has opened up many curious natures to me, and also made me the victim of not a few veteran bores. The abnormal mind is quick to detect and attach itself to this quality when it appears in a normal person. And so it came about that in college I was unjustly accused of being a politician, because I was privy to the secret griefs of wild, unknown men. Most of the confidences were unsought. Frequently I have feigned sleep, preoccupation, or a hostile levity when I realized by some unmistakable sign that an intimate revelation was quivering on the horizon. For the intimate revelations of young men, or at least the terms in which they express them, are usually plagiaristic and reserving judgment is a matter of infinite hope. I am still a little afraid of missing something if I forget that, as my father snobbishly suggested, and I snobbishly repeat, the sense of fundamental decencies is parceled out unequally at birth. And, after boasting this way of my tolerance, I come to the admission that it has a limit. Conduct may be founded on the hard rock or the wet marshes, but after a certain point, I don't care what it's founded on. When I came back from the East last autumn, I felt that I wanted the world to be in uniform and it was sort of more. All right, now look, let's keep it down, please, because you know we have a long way to go. Now look, we're pressed for time, if you don't mind, all right? When I came back from the East last autumn, I felt that I wanted the world to be in uniform and have a sort of moral attention forever. I wanted no more riotous excursions with privileged glimpses into the human heart. Only Gatsby, the man who gives his name to this book. Gatsby, only Gatsby was exempt from my reaction. All right, now look. Now, wait a minute. All right, now, wait a minute. Now, hold on. If I hear any more, I want it quiet. If I hear one more sound, I'm going to close this book and forget about the whole thing. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Thank you. All right, that's it. You've made your bed, now lie in it. I'm going. That's it. Good night. I'm closing it, forgetting about the whole thing. No, I'm only fooling. I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't do that to you. No. Only Gatsby, the man who gives his name to this book, was exempt from my reaction. Gatsby, who represented everything for which I have an unaffected scorn. If personality is an unbroken series of successful gestures, then there was something gorgeous about you. You know, let me tell you something. I think what we need nowadays is more discipline. You know, when I was your age, I used to have to walk about 7 miles to school. Rather rather spoil the child, is what I say. Good hopper on a woodshed would do some of you very good. All right? Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to continue reading. Okay. If personality isn't I won't then. All right, what do you want me to do? All right, good. Only Gatsby, the man. If personality is an unbroken series of successful gestures, then there was something gorgeous about it. What? All right, that is it. I have been asked to leave, ladies and gentlemen. I have been asked to leave, and I resent it. I was told I could take all the time I want, and now they ask me to leave. Well, all right. I was going to read you the book, and then I was going to play you the music record. But that's it. You don't want it? Then fine. I won't even do that. No, you don't want the record either, do you? Well, fine. Fine. How many people want the record? How many people want the record? All right. Do you really want the record? Do you really want the record? Or would you rather that I do? All right. I'll do the record. But first the book. All right. You want the record? Yeah. You want the record? All right. They'll have the record. Then we'll have... No. All right. Oh, enough is enough. All right. Only Gatsby, the man Gatsby represents everything for which I have an unaffected scorn.
Welcome, true believers. This is Ted. I am joined today by Darth, Brett, and George. Woo! This is the Five Dudes with Views 2021 Mixed Bag.
Yeah!
Special edition spin-off. No, we are not the Five Dudes version of the Ropers, or Saved by the Bell, the college years.
Hey.
Or even Joni Loves Chachi.
Chachi.
Today, we're going to deep dive into the world of comic books.
Oh, yeah.
All of us are very passionate about comic books since we were kids. Our exciting topic today is our top favorite comic book villains
Not
of
the
all
heroes.
time.
Kill the heroes.
Guys, what makes a comic book villain great?
Evil.
Yep.
Evil.
A scheming,
Yeah.
Dastardly.
great
That's
word.
right,
I was
he's
going
like-
to say dastardly,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Well, I think to me a villain has to be just as powerful, if not more powerful, than the hero.
Okay.
That way, when the hero, if he does happen to eventually win the battle, he has to go through hell and back to win.
I
That's
agree.
what makes the hero the hero. He
And-
goes that extra step to just, to win.
Totally.
I agree.
And that's what makes it interesting is the hero. It's not a cakewalk. 'Cause
Yeah,
if it was, it'd
exactly.
be boring, right?
Yeah, totally.
It has to be like
100%.
a fight.
Yeah, it's interesting doing some research for this and thinking about a lot of the villains that I've read in the past years, and a lot of them have that like dual side to them,
Yeah.
where they're not truly evil, like Doctor Evil.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
only do evil, but I mean they're really not good people, but some of them have a good and bad side to them. So
Right. Almost
Yeah.
like an anti-hero, kind of like the Punisher or Venom, where they're
Yeah.
like they start
Yeah.
off like really bad, and then for some reason they're like, I could be kind of good too.
Even like-
I'm not those heroes or those villains suck. I want
Yeah.
like a villain, dude.
You want
I want like
an
a
actual.
yes, like
bad
Thanos
to the
or the
core.
Joker. You don't ever see the Joker being good. He's
Yeah, I
like,
was gonna say the Joker is definitely not like he has no good in him at all.
or Darkseid or C. What is it?
Oh,
Dark
okay.
Seed?
Darkseid?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't see him fucking. Oh, I'm gonna be good today. I don't want to kill anybody. No, dude.
I'm tired of killing.
I'm tired of killing. Let me be good for a little bit.
But I do like
true.
villains that are have flaws too,
I
or
like
broken.
those.
like character flaws.
Well, that's
agree.
that's maybe why
That's what makes
why
them
they're
more
villains.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's
like-
get into it. Let's start talking about some of our favorite villains. Who do you guys, think about when you're thinking about villains?
I'll go first.
Yeah,
One of the main villains that I think of, going back to like when I first started reading comics as a kid, X-Men. Obviously, one of their biggest enemies is Magneto. Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
he's a villain that I always think of.
He's actually one of my
Pretty quickly.
Again, my like go-to book was always X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the 80s, dynamic character.
Mm-hmm.
Where he is a mutant and he was out for civil rights as a mutant, but he was.
He did it, in a different way. He was a little more like, guns out, as opposed to, I'm just gonna, form a team and just be good. He was
Right.
like, no, kind of, a little Malcolm X type, where by all
Actually-
means necessary, let's,
very much so.
let's
And-
do this.
It's one of those villains,
Yeah.
Magneto, where he's not evil to the core.
Right.
Like he
means well,
He's got
kind of.
he's got good intentions.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you know the backstory, but obviously somewhere down the line, he became a little corrupt.
A little
Maybe
little
misguided.
jaded, misguided.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and his power is pretty fucking like he's got some power, man. If he wanted to put
Fuck
some,
shit up.
he could, dude.
Kid.
Like if he wanted to
End the world.
Easily, dude. He can
Yeah.
draw
Yeah.
the iron out of your blood, dude, and that's it. You know how many dude, he would drop like millions of people in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was probably not. He's not one of my favorite X-Men villains, but definitely he's like when I think
Stand out.
of like
Yeah.
really good superhero villains, especially from Marvel. Magneto is always the first one I
Yeah.
think.
I
Of.
agree. Yeah.
What about you guys? Who do you who comes to mind?
I'd say one of my top ones is Black Adam from
Oh man.
from Shazam.
He's another one, sort of like Magneto too, where he's trying to fight for his people, like to say kind of
Yeah.
where he's got he doesn't have like an evil agenda. His agenda is more like power to my people, f everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
kinda
Were you
situation.
guys more of Marvel readers or DC readers? Or
I was more Marvel.
Me too.
I was
Okay.
gonna say I don't
Yeah.
know really a lot about Black Adam. Like
Right.
you'll have to shed some light for me because I don't.
Yeah, I'm not too read on him. I mean, I've heard of him, and I've
Is he the
read
Rock? The Rock's playing him, right?
Yeah.
in the
That
movie?
so that was some of my early reading, and I am actually not prepared, but he definitely was one of my favorite villains.
Yeah.
Growing up
in
as
that-
a kid.
Growing up, because
Okay.
I want to say I'd read DC like at age 5.
Like
Oh, wow.
first.
Like I was
yeah.
getting Superman, Shazam
Okay.
titles, to read.
Okay.
But he was He was pretty dastardly.
Who-
From what I
Yeah,
remember,
Who was he the main villain for Justice League or
Shazam.
Shazam.
Oh, Shazam! You said
Yeah,
that.
he was the
Okay.
opposite.
He was
to
his
Shazam.
arch rival,
Yeah,
arch nemesis.
Arch
Yeah.
nemesis.
Which I think they're going to be making a movie about.
Yeah.
The Rock.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
The Rock.
Filming.
It looks great though. I
Really?
can't wait. Oh, for
Nice,
sure.
nice.
Yeah, and I love The Rock. Anything
And-
The Rock does, I'm watching. Except
Yeah.
some of the Fast and
Shazam
Furious
2 is
stuff.
coming too, right? They're
Dude,
doing
I
a
love that guy.
sequel, right?
What's that?
Shazam 2,
Yeah,
right?
after Black Adam. Yeah.
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 So this will tie directly into Shazam 2, right? I'm assuming.
I think that's one of DC's better titles.
Oh, for sure. I
watched
love
it
Shazam.
recently.
That,
It was
dude,
good.
that thing was awesome.
I liked it
Yeah.
a lot.
Zachary Levi, that guy killed it. It was
yeah.
great.
I
Yeah,
watched
it was funny. It was had a lot
It
of
checked all my
action.
boxes for
Yeah.
sure.
It had origin story.
Yep.
It was really good. I thought
Yeah.
it was.
It was funny. I love the fact that it was funny. It was great.
Yeah.
It reminded me of kind of. It wasn't obviously as violent, but the tone of it, and just how entertaining it was, just the flow of it. It reminded me a lot of the first Kick-Ass when that came. out.
Yes.
Right.
Where it was just like
100%.
it was just really fun.
Yeah.
Didn't take itself too serious. It was
Yeah.
perfect. Perfect movie.
Not your like typical like Avengers or X-Men superhero
Yeah.
movie. You know.
Yeah.
It was a little different, but
I-
it was good, different.
I tell everybody this, dude. I enjoy a good superhero movie, and I don't really care what the critics say. I don't care what anybody else says. Dude, this is all candy to us because when we were kids, we didn't have this stuff. We had the Lou
Right.
Ferrigno Hulk. We
Sure.
had
Swamp Thing,
Which was great.
the movie
Swamp
was
Thing.
like
We
the
had
only
Adam
one.
West, Batman. We had that's as much as we got.
And the Spider-Man live action show for like 1 year,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Wonder Woman, I guess.
So anything that's
Not
coming out
much.
right now is just candy to us, dude. This is great. Like I'm totally enjoying this stuff. Of
Yeah.
course, there's some that you're like, it wasn't that good. But am I going to hate it? No, because I'm going in there expecting it to be a comic book movie.
Yeah.
I'm not going in there to watch The Godfather. I'm not going in there to watch, The Departed. I'm going in there to watch a comic book movie where I'm going to
Yeah.
escape for a little bit.
For
I'm
the
gonna have
comic
some
book
fun.
fans, it's an awesome time.
Yeah, it is.
I need to catch up on a lot of the
So all you-
comic book movies last
Bastards.
2 years.
Stop
I
taking
agree.
everything so goddamn serious.
I agree because I'm
behind.
I'm getting behind on those.
Yeah.
On what?
Yeah. Comic book movies.
Like I haven't watched New Mutants. I haven't watched
Dude, Disney Plus,
Dark Phoenix.
You got
yet.
all these streaming services now, man. It's like you can just take
It
your
is.
pick. Sunday afternoon, you're bored, you're at home, the kids are out with the mom doing the thing with the thing with the thing. Boom.
It's
Throw on
easy
a
to get
movie.
behind.
It is though.
because I have
They're
not
churning them out
even-
pretty fast.
Yeah.
I have
for
not
sure.
even finished WandaVision.
What
That's
the-
how
I
far
finished
back I
that.
am.
All right,
and
Ted.
Winter Soldier, but I didn't watch Loki or Hawkeye.
Okay.
I'm about to go Magneto on your ass.
Oh,
Ted.
shit.
God damn it.
That's violent.
I've already watched what? I've watched WandaVision.
Did you watch Black Widow yet?
Yeah.
Oh, you
watched
did.
Black Widow.
Any good or?
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
I need to watch that
yeah.
one.
It
And then-
everything ties into the bigger picture.
and
Nice,
to those movies.
Nice.
Did you watch? Is it available on stream yet? Shang-Chi for free yet?
Already watched it. Yeah, Disney Plus.
Okay, I need to watch that one. then,
I'm all
too.
caught up. The only thing that I haven't watched yet is
Spider-Man,
Eternals
right?
and Spidey.
Oh, and Eternals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when did Spidey come out?
Just last week.
On
This
Wednesday, I
weekend.
believe.
All
On
right.
the, whatever the
It set a
17th
new record post-pandemic. It made 240 million.
Wow.
in your face.
It made
critics.
Dude, it like made 130 million on Friday.
In your
last
face.
Friday.
Fat
Like
critics.
in one day, it made that much. Like it's
Skinny critics.
it took
Wow.
it took COVID and said, "Fuck you."
Wow.
Yes.
I'm doing my own thing and making a ton of money, a shitload of money.
Nice.
Yes.
Ugh.
And again, good for us.
See that? Yeah.
Woo!
Okay, one last thought on Shazam is Dr. Sivana is in that movie, and he's the main villain. Another great Shazam villain. If for all those Shazam fans out there, are the one or two Shazam fans out here listening? Who else you guys have on your villains list?
My villains list, man. I've been reading comics for the longest time, like since I was a kid, and
Yep.
like we were speaking of earlier, I grew up Marvel, so I read Spider-Man, Iron Man, Daredevil, a little bit of Fantastic Four, and out of all those comics, the one that stood out to me the most was Doctor Doom.
The Fantastic Four will now perish by the hand of Doctor Doom.
Great.
Oh
Great
my
villain.
God, that
Yeah.
dude was insane. Like and it was great, like visually, like armor. He had a cloak on. He like ruled his own freaking land. He has a
Okay.
castle. He's got a castle, dude. Come
Right,
on. And
right. I remember that.
And one of my favorite
Victor
stories.
Von Doom, right?
One of
That
my
was-
favorite stories was in an Iron Man comic where Iron Man and Doctor Doom kind of have to team up because they somehow get transported into like medieval times
Okay.
Wait, Doctor Doom has to team up with who?
with Iron Man.
With Iron Man.
Because
Oh,
somehow they
interesting.
go into the past and they both have to. They're stuck in like medieval times, so they got to figure a way to get back. Such
Oh,
an
great.
awesome story. But him being a villain in the Fantastic Four was insane. Like he's just on par with Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards as
Yeah.
far as smarts.
Yeah, brains.
Ooh,
yeah.
Yeah.
And they were competitors, right?
Yeah, big time.
Another villain where started off as not a bad guy
Yeah.
per se, and then something
Yeah.
happens to him and
Yeah.
makes him
Broken
turn.
friendship.
Broken friendship, gets scarred in the
Bad
face.
accident, yeah.
Bad accident. He's like supposed to be like a pretty boy, kind of like Bruce Wayne, millionaire guy. Like,
Yeah.
oh, very.
Wow, what
and
a great
then
character.
Rakata, he gets fucking, scarred in the
Great
face.
villain, Doctor Doom.
Yes.
Like that's got to be at the top of the list.
And look at his armor. His armor's great, man.
Yeah, like when I was a kid, I loved the what was the action figure line for the not superpowers,
Secret Wars.
Secret Wars.
Ooh, nice.
Doctor Doom was always the one I wanted him so badly. Like, I
Yeah.
remember there was a kid in my class that had
My
him. I was
brother
like,
got him too, because me and my younger brother used to collect those. So he got Secret Wars or Doctor Doom, and I got Iron Man.
Oh,
we
okay, yeah.
battled it out, but he loved Doctor Doom.
There's a list of like Spider-Man villains we could
Oh, easily.
knock off right now.
I,
Doctor
I
Octopus.
personally
and,
think Spider-Man's got the best rogue gallery of villains, even maybe a little bit better than Batman.
I would agree with Ted, or I'm
Right.
sorry, I would agree with you, Brett, because I read Spider-Man as a kid, and the amount of villains that dude's had, and dude,
Insane.
again, that's what makes Spidey so great. As reading him in the comics, what he would overcome. Dude, he'd get the shit beat out of him, where he was like
Yeah.
broken shoulder or dislocated shoulder, bruised, battered, in a coma, all this shit, because
Yeah.
all his villains. He had
Yeah.
a great rogues gallery.
All right, let's go into some Spider-Man villains.
Okay.
Who else do you have on that list?
I mean, I have a bunch. Obviously, the Green Goblin
That's the standout.
and
great.
right
Doctor
there.
Octopus.
Yep.
Great,
Like
great
I mean,
villains. Octopus
the
was
Sinister
amazing.
Six was like a great
Yeah.
supervillain
Dude, he
group.
battled 6 of them, bro.
Mysterio's in there.
Yeah.
Was Craven one? Craven the Hunter
Craven the
was one
Hunter.
of them.
Yeah,
Oh, man,
Kraven was
that's
great.
Oh my god.
Craven, he's a pretty old villain,
He is.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like one in the
70s.
Yeah.
Probably
60s.
early 70s, late
60s.
60s.
Yeah,
Wow.
late 60s, early 70s. Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. And
Great
there's
villains, man.
there's a great
Rhino.
dude.
I
There's a
loved
great
Rhino.
story. There's
Oh
a
my
great
goodness.
storyline in.
Wait, did you say that Spider-Man has like the best villain?
I think he has the
yeah.
best rogue gallery
think you're
in
right.
all comic
I would
books.
agree.
because we're
dude.
not even finished with the list.
Yeah,
haven't
we're
even-
still going, dude.
Yeah.
You want to keep
Electro.
going? I mean, I always think as Batman having the best rogues gallery. Not, I wouldn't say the best, but
It's very unique.
in the top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But Spidey by far has the best
Yeah.
rogues.
I mean, Batman
sure.
has some of the most colorful villains.
Yes.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, but there's getting back to Spidey. There's a storyline where Craven kills Spider-Man and buries him alive, and takes
Okay.
like his his costume. No,
awesome.
he takes his costume.
Oh, shit.
And starts going out and killing supervillains
As Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
Wow.
Like, dude, back in the early
Dude,
80s,
I
they
gotta-
used to write some dark stories.
to
man.
catch up on my
When was that
Spider-Man.
storyline? Early
Amazing
80s?
Spider-Man. I would say it was probably about 84, 83 or 84.
Wow.
I'll get you guys the numbers.
It was
but-
before I started. I wasn't quite old enough to.
Oh, I
collect
was reading
Spider-Man.
them. I was loving. That was like the very first bunch of comics that I was buying around that time, and was just blown away by. I'm used to seeing Spider-Man, on cartoons where he's like that, spy,
Yeah.
whatever. Reading the I was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
this is dark, man.
Yeah.
This is some killing going on here.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow.
Yeah.
Venom?
Oh, huge.
Of course.
Huge.
We can do a whole podcast of Venom if we wanted to.
That's when Venom came around. Like I just started collecting Spider-Man or reading Spider-Man.
Yeah.
This is like 87.
Thank you,
88.
Todd McFarlane.
And then Venom. That's like right when Venom got
Yeah.
introduced. Was right when I first
Do
started.
you have that
reading
issue, Brett?
Spider-Man. I used to. I don't know. And it would have been thrashed if I still had it.
Damn.
Okay.
It wouldn't be worth anything.
Oh my
but
god.
I had all those issues like at the time.
I still do, because
But
I
I-
collected Spidey. That was my shit, dude.
I mean, I was 9 then. I read my
man.
Right.
comics like every week.
What
so they
year
got
was that? Was that
87, 88.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Fuck.
yeah, it was like 9. So
Okay.
when you're a kid, you're not.
No, but what's funny is
I do have a couple
when I first started
that I
collecting,
did take care
when
of
I first started collecting comics, I was like you. I would read them,
Yeah.
ton, just read. But my cousin collected comics as well, and he was buying 2. Where he was older than me. He was like 4 years older than me.
He was.
And he was
knew.
buying one and collecting one, and I asked him, I was like, why do you buy 2? He goes, oh no, you got to put one away. I'm like, oh, okay. So not that I looked up to him, but I got reading into comics because of him.
Right.
And I got reading into comics because of him, so I saw him do that, and I was like, oh shit, okay. And funny thing, he's probably gonna kill me for saying this, but I remember him having tweezers to turn the pages
Oh my
wow.
goodness.
of the comic book, and I'm like, why is he doing that? That's so
Wow.
weird. And in my head, I'm thinking that's crazy. But
Yeah.
he said always get 2, put one away and then one for reading. I go, okay, that kind of makes sense. So I started doing that.
Yeah.
So that's now. And I've got like my reader shitty copy, and then I've got like the nice one bagged and boarded and put away.
I remember when I started doing that, but it was a little. I was a little older. It was probably closer to like 91, 92 when I started doing that.
Yeah.
But I was younger than you, obviously, so you were probably
Not that much younger, Brett. Damn it. No, just kidding. I'm messing with you.
But life lessons,
Yeah.
for comic book collector,
Yeah.
reader people out there, for sure.
So going into Spidey's rich catalog of villains, Batman also has. If you flip the coin onto DC side, Batman's got some great.
Jack is dead, my friend. You can call me Joker.
Why so serious?
Most nameable?
Li-
I mean, come
yeah.
on. Like you say Batman, people are gonna like, oh yeah, he's.
So, Joker at the top of the list.
Obviously, the
for sure.
Joker.
Yeah,
And then
Catwoman.
Catwoman, who's
Riddler,
like
and
George was saying, Catwoman's almost like one of those not really like the Punisher. She's not really a main villain. She's almost like a antagonist.
Yeah.
Where she's
Yeah.
neutral.
okay.
She's like, she could be Batman's ally.
Yeah.
In some instances.
They have a long history.
Yeah.
And we can go even into contemporary.
But you got like,
Yeah.
you said the Joker. You got the Riddler.
Mhm.
Scarecrow.
Two-Face.
Scarecrow. I remember reading his the early Batman issues, and
Scarecrow,
the Scarecrow's
great,
in
yeah.
it. Holy shit, dude, that dude was scary. Like
Really? Wow.
Clayface.
Early
Okay.
Batman issues, you read like 70s, 80s, and you read those stories compared
Yeah.
to the stories now. You're like, holy crap! There's a different wave of just imagination back in the day.
Writing,
I enjoy
concepts.
more. That's the
Yeah.
era I enjoy more. Like I still collect comics to this day and read them, and I still enjoy them. But that 70s, 80s era was untouchable, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man Bat. Wasn't he one of the
Yeah.
main?
Oh,
he was
okay.
like the big, looked like a giant bat.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
furry
Wow.
bat.
Yeah.
Man
Yeah.
Bat.
And we can't forget Brett's favorite Batman villain. He broke Batman's back.
Yeah.
Bane,
Bane.
baby.
Bane,
Came
baby.
later on, but yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
Bane.
I mean, what era was that?
That's-
When did Bane come
That's
out?
early 90s,
Early
93.
90s, yeah.
Okay.
Like summer
Yeah,
93.
after my reading,
It was-
tenure.
Who was the? It was like he broke his back, and then that replacement character came out. To
Osriel.
Osriel, yeah. so it was
Oh,
around
okay.
then.
I'm getting learned here.
Early
Yeah.
90s.
Early 90s. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Brett and I's era of comics where we were
Yeah.
going super
Yeah.
strong.
Okay. Nice, nice.
When was? You know what's weird? Poison Ivy. Was she was around like in the 70s, right? In the comics.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's another big
Okay.
Batman villain.
Right.
The Mad Hatter.
Yeah. Mad Hatter.
Mad Hatter.
Right.
Who was the one? God, there are a lot of Batman villains that
Tons.
are really cool.
Yeah.
It's an old comic.
Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, it's true, right? Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
Who
okay.
was depicted by Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Arnold.
Stay cool, bird boy.
Not
in
to
the
be
old TV
confused
shows.
with Captain Cold
Yes.
from The Flash.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah, that's
Was it
the
a-
Flash.
Great
I don't
film.
know Flash villains. That's a Flash.
I just remember that one. Is
Captain
there-
Cold. Yeah,
well,
the Reverse
Reverse
Flash.
Flash, I
Flash,
know,
yeah.
but that's it. I think.
Professor Zoom, aka the Reverse Flash. He was a fucking murdering fuck, dude. If you read his early shit, like he was killing people.
Oh shit.
wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
When was
now, I wonder
the
where
Flash?
the
is
way
old
we
too,
are.
right?
What's that?
Flash is an old comic too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
From like
It
the
is.
30s or 40s
Yeah,
originally.
that's
Yeah.
an old one. Yep.
Now, you mentioned you read Superman a lot. I always thought the Superman villains were kind of, I don't want to say lame, but not as strong.
But see, Superman had like worldly villains where they were like,
Global dominators,
dominating
like
villains.
Lex
Yeah,
Luthor.
because in the early stages of Superman's career, he could move planets and shit. But they kind of drew back in their late 70s, early
powerful.
80s.
Yeah,
they
we have
kinda-
to have some kind of.
Weaknesses.
Yeah, they had to depower him a little bit because they were like, yeah, this is a little too. Who's
Sure.
he gonna fight?
Too easy,
It's
yeah.
too easy. So
Right.
they started bringing in Darkseid.
Darkseid, yeah.
What was the other guy? Brainiac,
Oh,
Brainiac.
yeah.
Okay,
Brainiac.
yeah.
Yep.
who would outthink Superman because he's more of a brainy character. He would make these,
I remember him.
evil plots and shit.
You mentioned Superman. Ted, who was your favorite? of your
Bizarro was.
Who's
Bizarro's
that?
good. He's
Remind
like he's almost like a zombie version of Superman.
Wait, Bizarro?
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought you said Zorro. I was like, who?
Did you
Bizarro.
say
yeah,
Zorro?
Yeah, I thought you said like Zorro, like Zorro.
Bizarro.
Yeah, Bizarro. Yeah, he's like the weird, like doppelganger version.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looked like a zombie version of Superman.
Yeah.
Another one would be, Luthor at the top of the list.
Lex
but,
Luthor.
I've mentioned this character before, but Mr. Mxyzptlk is on my list.
Oh, that's
He's
a
like
good
the
one,
weird
dude.
little alien dude, right?
Yep,
he
the
would put
alien with the
Superman-
top hat. I think. it was.
He
Yeah.
would put Superman into these little tests where he had to do shit.
Right.
Yeah. The only way to
Riddles
get
and-
rid of him is to say his name backwards.
And he's like really smart, right? Like
Yeah,
highly
yeah.
intelligent.
Highly intelligent.
But not physically powerful.
no,
right.
no, no.
Just an
mentally,
intelligent,
like,
yeah.
intelligent character. You have to outsmart Superman. Do you remember how to say his name backwards?
No, I
do
don't.
remember.
Wait.
And I think it's probably from the cartoon.
Forward, it's
Mixelplick.
Mixelplick.
Yeah.
Backwards, it would be like,
Don't quote me, but I think it's Slippleskim.
oh, okay, yeah, I wouldn't even know how to.
Yeah, and I think I remember that from a cartoon.
Yeah.
like some
Okay.
cartoon.
Yeah, he'd had. That's the
I'm
only
gonna
way
look that up though.
he would go away is if he said his name
But
Good
backwards.
times, good
backwards.
times. Yeah. So that's a good list from Superman. Also, I liked Daredevil's villains
Yeah.
as well. Punisher and
Which I feel like Daredevil's villain, some of them, well, Punisher and like Elektra, they're more like the.
Kingpin would be.
Kingpin's a villain, super villain. But like
Yeah.
Punisher and Elektra are more or less.
like
They're good.
teetering
They're like
Right.
anti-heroes, but they're not like true
I was gonna
villains.
say, yeah.
They're almost like
anti-heroes.
Yeah, they started off as villains, but then they kind of saw
like
the
Venom
light.
kinda.
Yeah, they were like, "Shit, I shouldn't be doing this. I could be using my power for good."
There's some
But
good in
They
that.
still
Right.
go to the extreme to use their power.
yeah.
Don't
Kingpin
pick
for
on a
sure.
blind man. Come on.
Now who?
That's a villain.
Kingpin was originally Spider-Man villain.
Yes.
Before he was Daredevil, right?
Yes.
Was he?
I think he
Yes.
appeared in Spider-Man first.
Yes,
right?
he did.
Oh, okay.
And then he
later
went
on,
over to
went over to
Daredevil.
Daredevil because they're all like
Yeah.
street level heroes.
Yeah.
They're not like the Avengers, where they're like worldly, kind of like Superman. They're like worldly
Yeah.
heroes.
Typhoid Mary, she was one of the
Oh, I don't
Daredevil
remember that one.
Oh
villains, right?
yeah.
Really? Okay.
Bushwhacker, Daredevil villain?
Bushwhacker, yep.
Bushwhacker.
Uh-huh.
He was like the weird dude. That
Out
had
of my
like
area
a-
here.
His hand was like shaped like a machine gun.
Yeah,
or
he was put
something.
through the same. I think I might quote me. I might be wrong on this, but I think he was put through the same company that gave Luke Cage his powers.
Oh,
and
okay.
I think it's
Wow.
called the Brand Corporation. So they
Okay.
put
Okay.
him through it.
Wow.
And his superpower, you're granted a superpower. Like if they put you through this chemical treatment or whatever, you come out however you come out. His just happened to be that he can morph. I think it's both or one of his arms into
Yeah.
a weapon, a
So it's
sword,
like-
a gun. But you
Yeah.
think like, where does he get the bullets from? What is
Yeah, I
that?
always thought it was odd. He has like holes in his arm.
Yeah,
like
and he's
flesh.
shooting
It's weird.
bullets, and then I'm like, could he shoot poo out of that? Like if you put doo doo in
Like
it?
he runs out and
He's like, shit, I gotta put shit in my arm. I ate too much quesadillas today.
Bullseye.
macadamia nut.
Bullseye.
Bullseye. Oh,
That was one of the
great
main
villain.
Daredevil villains.
Yeah,
Definitely.
There was a storyline in there where he went on a rampage and he kills Elektra,
Oh no.
which therefore driving Daredevil mad and basically almost killing Bullseye.
Yeah, was that
wow.
the
No, I don't
Frank
remember
Miller
that. but-
storyline?
Yeah,
like
Frank Miller
late
wrote that.
80s,
Oh my
mid-80s?
God.
I remember.
Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of
That had
my,
some
one of
good
my
writing in
heroes.
it.
Frank Miller's one of my heroes.
Oh, he's
as a-
amazing,
an
man.
artist.
He's in the.
And
we should do that one of these days. Have one top 5.
Oh, damn.
there's so
writers,
much
dude.
comic book content.
What about artists too?
Oh yeah,
Comic
we
book
could do-
content to cover. We can even cover like our favorite experiences.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Emerald City
comics-
Comic Con. That was a good experience.
Yeah, our favorite comic book stores of all time.
Oh, that's
We've got a lot of ground to cover. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so I was a big Teen Titans reader in the beginning when that comic book came out. The new Teen Titans.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
great comic
not
book.
Teen
Which
Titans.
is early '80s.
Yeah.
Marv
Kinda
So
mid-80s?
Marv Wolfman,
Yeah.
George Perez. So my favorite villain of New Teen Titans was Deathstroke. So
Oh man,
Deathstroke
great
is on
villain.
my list.
yeah,
Even though I never read Teen Titans. I
yeah.
like
First
that
appearance
villain.
in Teen Titans #2,
Yes.
issue #2.
Yes.
Real heel. This guy was a douchebag. He slept with underage girls.
No way.
Yeah.
Was the original
The
Deathstroke
Terra.
character
She was,
an older
you know-
guy too?
Oh shit.
So we're talking about some Brian Epstein shit here.
Oh, was he
I mean,
older?
this is
Man.
disgusting.
He was older
I
too,
had
right?
no.
He was an older guy. He's actually
Supposed to be, like, in his 50s.
I think his origin was that he was like a Vietnam guerrilla warfare guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Secret ops killer guy.
Yeah.
Like an ex-Green
But
Beret
this guy
or
is.
something.
Yeah.
I don't even think there was really anything
Look, Mr.
redeeming.
Squirrel wants
oh, he's
to
back.
chime in on his favorite comic book.
Oh my goodness!
We
Somebody
got a
take a
squirrel
picture.
hanging out.
Funny. He's like, I like Batman too.
Yeah. So I think the original name for Deathstroke was Deathstroke the Terminator.
Yes.
Oh, I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
I
And
think I remember that.
this was predates James Cameron's movie,
Yes.
The Terminator. So
I
but
don't remember.
Real bastard.
Was the original Deathstroke his first appearance? Was his costume the orange and blue?
Yes.
Like-
Yes, it was.
Okay.
He's
Yes, it was.
missing an eye, so it's only one.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I always liked his costume design. Like he was
George
a
Perez,
cool
I think,
looking...
designed that costume.
Yeah.
as
Oh,
a
did
matter
he
of
design?
fact, Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
the
It was always
orange
a
and
cool.
blue.
Now this is coming from someone that was like pro Marvel, especially when I was a little kid.
Right.
I always thought DC was not as cool, but
right.
Deathstroke always looked like a Marvel villain to me. I was
did.
like, oh,
He
he's
was a
cool enough to
kick-ass
be
villain.
in Marvel.
Yeah,
Like, he
he
should be a
did.
Marvel villain.
Yeah, well,
was.
That was like
Rob
a
Liefeld
10-year-old
says
me.
that I don't know if I might be again misquoting, but Deadpool was his inspiration was a mixture of Spider-Man, Deathstroke, and
I've heard
I
that.
can't remember what the other one was, or maybe it was just those two. But yeah,
And you can
That
see
makes
the
sense.
influence.
I definitely see like
You can definitely
Deathstroke
see the
as
influence.
an influence.
But the main storyline, I think, for Deathstroke was the Judas contract for the new Teen Titans.
Wow, great
I
storyline.
vaguely remember that. Do you remember like exactly what was going on with that?
No, but I remember being a kid and reading that and just being blown away because it was just such a grown-up story. There was like,
Right. He probably is trying to kill off all the Teen Titans
yeah,
or
he
something. like that.
was, and I think it had to do with like, oh, he does kill one of the Teen Titans, and then I think his daughter comes into the picture or something
Okay.
like that. It was like a
Right.
family kind of situation. But
Okay.
yeah, again, it's one of those stories when you're a kid and you're reading and you're like, dude, this
Holy shit.
is not very comic book like.
Yeah.
But it was intriguing, so it drew
Yeah.
me in. Those
Yeah.
kind of stories
was.
drew me in, man.
It was violent and it was, our kind of like almost soap opera. It was like
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really
But
cool.
again, it's like the hero has to overcome all this adversity to become the hero. So that's what's so great about those stories. Now the stories are they're pretty fucking lame.
Are they?
There's
Oh.
a handful that I still
Yeah.
read that are still good that I would
Okay.
consider like above average, like really good.
Right.
But they don't hold a candle to the stuff from the 70s and 80s,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
It's insane.
I mean, I haven't actually read
There's a few writers
consistently
like
comic books in the last
Yeah.
like 20 years, I'll say 15 years.
Mhm.
But I will say, like, it seems like the quality of writing that we were seeing in the 70s and 80s and even early 90s
Yeah.
seemed like it was
yeah, it's lacking. There's a few.
Better than
again,
it is
Don't get
now.
me wrong. There are some great stuff out right now.
Yeah.
Like, really good.
just overall, though, the quality is not like it used to be.
Like for a new comic book reader to come in and grab just any comic off the shelf,
Mhm.
it's not really like back in the day. Like whatever comic you would grab, you were gonna get blown away. There's
Yeah.
Titans. There
Yeah.
was Spider-Man, Daredevil, Iron Man. Any of those issues.
the
that you
good
could
old
grab,
days.
You could
Yeah.
grab it and be like just drawn into that
Yeah.
world and just now
Sure.
it's like only a handful. Well, I mean, to me, I'm an old asshole now. I don't know. This is just me coming from that point of view.
Yeah.
Where you can there's a handful that you can still grab that are not as good, but pretty damn close.
Right. Right.
You know?
I hear
Do you think it's that happened because in the early mid 90s? I mean, it started before that, but especially in the early mid 90s when like Image and like Valiant started coming around, the comic book studios or the comic book companies were they were basically focusing more on the art
Yeah.
than they were the
Yeah.
storylines and the writing.
Well,
'Cause
now-
I feel like
Yeah.
that's what
Now
Trick
too is just
started that
it's just an
trend.
oversaturation of the market. There's just
yeah,
too
it's
much.
too much.
Yeah.
They're putting print to whatever. Like
Everybody's like
you and
doing
I can
comic
write a
books.
comic book and we'd probably get picked up. That's
And now with
they're-
Kickstarter and GoFundMe campaigns, like
Yep.
Sure.
even more independent like comic books are popping up left
Yeah.
and right.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, there are a lot of documentaries about the writers of those eras, like our golden years as readers, and it's really, really awesome documentaries. I will definitely send you some. But I just
Yeah,
saw
please.
one on like Chris Claremont.
Oh, nice. Oh, he's
amazing.
awesome. We met him.
Yeah.
Remember? We got
Yeah,
some comics
at,
signed by him at
Long
Long
Beach.
Beach Comic Con.
Yep.
We did meet him.
Yeah,
I don't remember
we did.
that.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I do. Was it? It wasn't the last one we went to, was it? Maybe
No.
second to
It
last one?
wasn't. I don't think so.
I kind of vaguely do.
But it was so
remember
cool that like Chris Claremont is at this.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
wasn't like a very long line to get him to, sign
No.
stuff. And
I
meet-
gave you
meet
one of
him
my
and stuff like
comics
that.
because you were like, "Fuck! If I known he was
Yeah,
gonna be
I
out of
don't
comics," and I go, "Dude, I got a duplicate one here. Take
I do
it."
remember
And then
that.
Ted, I think
He's definitely making a lot more appearances lately.
He is.
That's nice that he's making
he's
himself
good. They
accessible to
should-
the fans.
Dude, they should put him back on writing the X-Men. The X-Men right now, I'm sorry, it's
Dude, you got to
garbage.
watch that documentary because
Doo-doo.
he got screwed. Like he
Doo-doo.
basically got like
By Marvel?
ousted by the
Doo-doo.
powers that be. Yeah, I know. He was
any-
writing some, well, they were looking for like New Blood and stuff like
Shooter.
that, and
Did Shooter was he the one that kind of screwed him? over?
No.
It wasn't
This
Shooter.
is way after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Way. Yeah.
but
Way.
he got fucked. He got screwed. He really
Lame, dude.
did.
Because his stuff is amazing, man. To me, that's what made the X-Men in the early days.
Sure.
Like I read his stuff and was blown away by it.
And Chris Claremont, I mean, when he started, that was around. Was that when like John Byrne was like the
Yeah.
main artist?
Yep.
Like, I always feel
around
like-
there.
John
Yeah.
Byrne,
It's
Terry Austin.
Post John Byrne.
Yeah.
Who else?
Paul Smith.
Paul Smith.
Smith.
Oh my God.
Barry Windsor Smith.
Barry Windsor Smith.
Come
yeah.
on.
Great stuff.
That's what made the X-Men back in the day. Now it's like, oh God, it's just unreadable.
It is. Well, they kind of branched out to about 1 million comic books.
Yeah, I know. It's like crap.
And then
Anyway.
they refined that afterward. Fun fact: Chris Claremont's actually appearing this weekend.
Oh yeah, at
Where?
Comic-Con Revolution.
That's right,
Oh, is that
Ontario.
right?
Ontario.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, here.
Weren't we supposed to go to that, guys? Maybe.
I don't know.
We're supposed to.
Were we?
Did you really want a Omicron Comic-Con?
Yeah, I know. No, I'm good.
It's you
okay.
know what? This time of year is hard to
Yep.
do stuff
All
like
right,
that.
so let's keep
anyways.
this moving. So we
Yeah.
just talked about Deathstroke. You guys have any more on your list, you guys?
I mean, I got a bunch. But
Do it.
you want me to go into like obscure? Because okay,
Yeah, let's start going into like some.
I'm gonna just go real quick in some of my villains. I was always in the drawing, so
Yeah.
the villains a lot of times that stuck out to me were the ones that just looked really cool.
Yeah.
That had visually appealing, awesome costumes, or just like they just look badass. So I have some villains that aren't, A-list villains. That a lot of people may not be like, oh, who's that? Some of these villains are never going to appear in any of the
Throw them
films.
out there.
Blizzard.
Oh shit, I forgot
Someone
about him.
remember
He was an
Blizzard?
Iron Man villain too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Had
Okay.
like a cool blue and white, like
It's like a light blue or white.
yeah, and like his mask looked like jagged. I don't know what it was supposed to look like.
like snow
jagged, like
or yeah, he's a
ice,
blizzard.
like blizzard. And I think he used like batons, like sticks, as his weapon, weapon, kind of like Daredevil. Anyways,
Okay.
he was one of them. Chameleon from Spider-Man.
Yes.
the shapeshifter guy.
Yep.
Okay.
He's like all white.
Yep, and he could change to whatever.
He could morph or change into,
his
like-
favorite, I think, to morph into was Jonah Jameson.
Jonah Jameson. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember that.
Just like, I don't know, I always thought that was a cool villain.
It
'cause he
is.
could look like
Wow.
anybody and you didn't know. I'm looking. Oh, this is more 90s because I don't think he got introduced until Jim Lee era X-Men. Omega Red.
Omega Red.
I always liked
Yeah,
him.
he had like this like pheromone gas that he would emit.
Yeah, and I think he was supposed to be
cripple
like a leftover from the Cold War
Yeah.
era. Like he was an experiment from the Russians.
Yep.
And like he gets unleashed. He was cool though. Crossbones.
Yes, he was Captain America.
Captain
villain.
America. Here's another. They were a super villain group, and a lot of people probably think they were lame, but I always thought they were cool. They all have snake names. They're all related to snakes.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah,
Serpent
yeah.
Squad, Serpent Society.
Yes.
I love those guys.
Cottonmouth.
Cottonmouth and Death Adder and Viper and Anaconda. They were like Puff. Did you ever say Puff,
Adder, yep.
Constrictor. They
Yep.
were just.
And
they're
what comic
all,
was that?
What's that?
What comic
Captain
was that?
America.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then
Mostly Captain
it
America.
spilled over into other. I think Daredevil a bit too.
Yeah.
They all had like Cobra, like snake names.
Yeah, and they.
But
cool.
they were called the Serpent Society, and they all had like they all worshipped this like serpent crown or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
They just, to me, they were really cool because they all looked totally different. They were unique villains.
And they had the costumes again in that
Yeah.
Marvel way. They had those like super cool costumes where you're like, dude, that's great.
Hobgoblin too. I always liked
Great.
the Hobgoblin.
Yeah.
Who was like he's obviously a different character, like different backstory.
Yeah.
But he was like the newer, more dangerous version of the Green Goblin.
Yeah, he had a
Like,
cool look too.
He did.
Yeah.
Kind of like a hooded.
Orange, grayish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the flaming eyes, and he throw like
Firebomb.
fireball.
Yeah,
like,
fire pumpkin balls.
yeah, fire
Yeah.
jack-o'-lantern.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Liked him.
And he looked like he was kind of like his costume was all tattered, like ripped and
Right.
torn.
That was a great. I'd like to. I don't remember who designed his costume, but that was
Yeah.
awesome. I remember buying. That's at the height of my Spider-Man.
Hobgoblin,
reading, and he was
yeah.
just amazing.
Yep.
You know,
So that's some of my.
Right.
that first issue,
One
his
side.
first appearance, I think, is that I can't remember what number of Spider-Man, but it's him ripping Spider-Man's costume in half
Yeah.
on the cover, and that cover stood out, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta buy that.
I don't remember if his first appearance was in Amazing or Web or Spectacular.
I think it was
can't
Amazing.
remember. Was it Amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are some of the other villains.
Again, Spider-Man with his rich rogues gallery, man. Holy shit, it's awesome.
Any other ones you want to talk about, George?
Well, I'm always we've already talked a little bit about Batman's rogue gallery, but I really enjoyed that. The joke for me, the Joker's like another. He comes probably either second or first on my list
Yeah.
of just evil, bad guy. Like he's not an anti-hero. He's not. He's just straight up bad. Like
yeah.
causing chaos and not having a plan and just going in there and going crazy. Just
Right.
throwing all these, different scenarios at Batman where he's got to battle. And again, the Joker's not super powered. He doesn't have any fucking.
Right. Just a sick,
He's
like
just a
evil,
sick, evil plotting mind.
like mentally deranged guy.
And that's what makes the Joker kind of more attractive as a villain because he's not he doesn't have any superpowers.
No.
Right. He's just an evil
But
dude.
he's still
Yeah.
dangerous. Like,
Yeah.
so that gives him a cool element that
I think
a
he was
villain
like almost
Thanos,
like
let's
a-
say, is like got all these powers. So of course, it's I don't know. It's an extra element when a supervillain doesn't have any powers.
And he could
That
take
makes
down
him
somebody like Superman. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Per se.
that makes him seem even that more dangerous.
Yeah.
He might have been one of the most perfectly crafted villains for a superhero.
I agree.
Like he just their dynamic of good versus evil. I think he was like the perfect guy.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
For sure.
Yeah.
And they kind of go into this in some of the movies. Part of that reason was because they were similar
Mhm.
in some respects.
Yeah.
In terms of they
Right.
had like dark paths or, a past that like maybe they're trying to forget. Or also, you have like dual personalities kind of.
Right.
Both those guys, Bruce Wayne, Batman, and then with the Joker and before he became the Joker. So it's like that makes it a cool element too, where the main villain's very similar to the superhero
Right.
that he's fighting.
And Joker was in the asylum, right? Wasn't that the whole
Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
whole story?
Asylum. Ugh.
Yeah.
And it's funny how he can just leave whenever he wants, though. It's like he's there because he wants to be there. It's not like he's
Right.
like, oh,
Yeah, it's like
yeah, I don't.
It's even crazier.
Yeah, because Batman, eventually catches him or whatever, and he just throws him in there, and Joker he stays there because he wants to stay there. He doesn't have to be there. He can walk because. It's funny how a lot of the stories come out where he just literally walks out of the fucking place. Either A, by convincing people that he's sane, or B, going through a route where he's like he knows Arkham so well that he can just
Yeah.
walk out at any time. That's insane.
man.
You know?
that shows
He's
you
insane.
yeah.
that shows you the power that the Joker had
Yeah.
Yeah.
too.
Well, look, thanks to him, or not, I wouldn't say thanks to him, but how Harley Quinn was created. She was like his therapist or whatever, because he's so manipulative. He made her fall in love with him.
Yeah, like
Right.
she
And
fell
boom,
for it.
she helped him walk out of
Yep.
Yeah.
nothing.
That's a good storyline too.
It is. It's crazy. It's like,
Yeah.
but it's genius. If you really think about it, like he made her fall in love with him. Like
Yeah. Wow.
it's crazy.
Yep. So I think we're winding up on my list. I only have a couple more on my list that I want to talk about today.
I have a-
Beta Ray Bill was
Oh.
a villain that I liked a lot, back in the 80s. But I think that was the first character to steal Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
He was a pretty badass character. I think...
It's like the weird orange. He's like an orange alien, right?
Yeah.
Like he has a weird like.
Like horse face. Or,
Yeah, his nose.
Who
and
later ends up becoming Thor because
Okay.
he redeems himself.
Yeah, does he
from
become a
doing
good
that.
guy?
Yeah, he does.
I was gonna say I don't remember him as
Yeah.
a villain. I only remember.
But
him as
he
a good
redeems
guy.
himself and becomes
Okay.
Interesting.
a good
Another
guy.
version of
This is-
Thor.
It was like a trend that happened in like the early 90s.
Oh, really?
Was like I think they got tired of writing all these superhero stories, so they go, "Hey, how many villains can we turn into
a good
heroes
guy?"
and just branch off and make their own stories?"
Oh,
So
that's funny.
Deathstroke, the Punisher,
Venom.
Oh.
Venom.
Venom got that too. Yeah.
I think that's what happened.
That does sound like a trend. That's funny. And the other villain I have on my list, well, it's kind of like a combination. It's basically the Dark Phoenix story. Again,
Great.
part of my reading, where I read the most was that era of X-Men.
Great era,
So,
by the way. too.
Just a great story. Just the whole Dark Phoenix story, which covered probably like 50 issues, I want to say.
like good.
Just that
3 or 4
story
years.
arc of basically, the Phoenix turning into the Dark Phoenix and the death of Jean Grey, Dark Phoenix. But I just remember as a kid, I probably was, 10 or 12 years old when I'm reading this story and loving the X-Men and knowing the evolution of the original X-Men to the Uncanny X-Men. Jean Grey was kind of like, our sweetheart as like a reader. To see that transformation of her and seeing her death was the most amazing like storyline arc, and it was heartbreaking because seeing how she turned into the Dark Phoenix, which at the time it seemed like she was like brainwashed, by this Emma Frost Hellfire Club,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, and just seeing her become evil and this like a person who couldn't control her like possessive powers. Do you guys remember that
yeah.
storyline?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
of
I
course.
read it. It was amazing.
So
Again, Chris Claremont. Hats
yeah,
off
Chris
to that
Claremont.
guy.
Yep,
Jesus.
absolutely. Just this hero.
You would love this storyline,
superhero.
Brett.
Superhero that she couldn't control her powers. And it's interesting because reading like some history stuff on Wikipedia, it was like a force within her that they wrote like storylines after like her death. But the death of Jean Grey was it was heartbreaking.
It was because,
Yeah.
dude, we grew up reading, her adventures and stuff in X-Men.
Absolutely. And she was the sweetheart of Scott Summers' Cyclops.
Yeah.
And that was also heartbreaking to see him lose his,
His love.
Yeah.
His love. So, yeah, pretty crazy.
I want to say the Dark Phoenix storyline was just ending or wrapping up right when I got into comics.
Right, so late
83,
80s.
84,
Yep.
I want to say.
Oh,
Was it-
was sooner than that?
Had
Yeah, I
it
think you're
wrapped
right.
up by then, or was it wrapping up around then?
I think it might have been wrapping up around
Yeah,
there.
I feel like
It
right
was
when I
the
started
tail
getting
end
into
of that.
comics.
Yeah.
Because you
It was-
started getting in when it was like the Extinction Agenda. Remember that?
That's when I was really into it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
A little bit before that, right?
But I started collecting, like I started picking up comic books because my older brother, which is your age, 83, 84. So
That's
I
a
would
good
pick
age.
up, like, I'd pick up like, occasionally like here and there a book. But I feel like the Dark Phoenix saga was kind of wrapping up.
Yeah, it
right
was.
When I was getting old enough to like know
It's
what
in
I was
trades. I would
picking up.
say do yourself a favor because I feel like it's one of the best like story arcs of all time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I would
It's
put
really
it
good.
definitely put it
Yeah.
in my top 3 of all time.
Yeah.
easily.
And then
The Rise of the Phoenix in 101,
Yep.
X-Men 101 to her death, which I want to say is around like late 130s.
yeah, I believe so.
And that transition, that storyline, basically transitioned to where I did start getting into the X-Men comics was because X Factor was
Right.
basically started up right after that storyline, right?
I think I missed some good storylines after like that era too because I missed Gambit, I missed Rogue
yes, that was
storylines,
like,
Jubilee,
Jubilee.
Yep, first
So-
appearance at Jubilee.
and I think I'll go back and eventually get the trades or get the books and start reading those. Yeah. Yeah.
One of my major villains that I haven't talked about yet,
Go
but
ahead.
might as well transition into
Do it.
Do it.
because we mentioned X Factor.
Okay.
Apocalypse has
Yes.
always been
All right.
probably one of my. He's probably my number 2 favorite comic book villain.
Wow, that's a great villain.
What was his story? I didn't.
He's Egyptian, I believe it's Egyptian, right? An Egyptian god from the past.
Okay.
But
that-
he's also a mutant.
That's
He's like,
also a
he
mutant.
may be. I don't know if it's true or not, but he may be the first mutant ever.
Yeah, like he might have
Okay.
been
Oh.
like the
Okay.
initial like, and people didn't know from that
Yeah.
time when he was like in Egypt. They prayed to him like he was a god, but he was actually just a mutant with
Yeah.
powers. But
So-
they didn't know better.
They
so,
did
like,
make a
they
movie,
worshipped him.
right?
And he's immortal.
Yeah,
Did they made a movie? Like,
They did,
about
but-
Apocalypse.
the
You-
movie was a disappointment for
It
me.
was.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did. It was
I
pretty
saw it in
bad.
theater.
Ah.
The-
Okay.
See,
Didn't do it justice.
Again, I watched it and I didn't have any expectations going into it, and then coming out of it, I was like, it's basically like a missed strike, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
I
That
feel like-
sucks.
They meant well, but it just didn't.
And
I
I
don't-
feel like that type of villain, Apocalypse, at least for me personally, he's not the type of villain that you can just do in one movie and be like, that's
Yeah.
it. That's just like Apocalypse needs, and maybe it won't work for movies, but I feel like he needs to be in 2 or 3 movies
Yeah,
at least.
kind of like
Wow.
they did Thanos. He should be on that level.
He should be in a
Wow, wow.
storyline where there
Yeah, they struck
encompasses,
out
like
bad.
multiple movies.
Yeah, they meant well though. It was still it was aesthetically pleasing, but it lacked in story like really bad.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I love the Apocalypse like storyline when he first comes into play
Mm-hmm.
with X Factor because he basically takes other mutants and like he has this like I don't want to say a fantasy, but he's got this vision that he wants like an army of like mutants that are like have been turned into his own like mold of like artificial like I don't know, like Archangel basically.
Yeah.
He takes Angel and like
From the X-Men, the
grafts,
original
like
X-Men.
metal wings on it, makes him this like. Initially, he was a bad guy,
Yeah.
but like that's like an image of him. Like he wants like everyone to. It's just like it's a really cool storyline.
It sounds
I
pretty
love.
badass.
It is.
But the
Yeah.
movie totally like
Missed
just,
it.
Damn.
One movie isn't long enough to like do that storyline
Yeah.
justice. So
Okay. Okay.
it was a.
I'm inspired,
disappointing.
man. I feel like I need to go and read this.
The other
You
thing
would
I didn't
love it,
like.
dude.
story.
You would love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Apocalypse is awesome.
Yeah.
The movie version of the character physically also didn't feel like the comic book
No.
character.
Yeah.
He's like this huge,
Huge.
almost simian looking, like ape. He almost looks like a gorilla, almost
Yeah.
his face.
Okay.
And just this gigantic guy. Like he should have been like he should be like 7 or 8 feet tall. He's not
Okay.
like a
Yeah.
And the actor they got to play him, Oscar Isaac, is a great actor, but
Yeah.
physically he just
Doesn't
it's
have
not-
that presence.
he doesn't have that presence, and also
Physically.
the way they designed the costume just
Yeah.
didn't feel like Apocalypse to me.
Yeah, it was just like a regular bad guy. Like Brett said, he's this hulking dude, like this just huge presence. I mean, he had people worshiping him, thinking he was a god. Like,
Yeah.
this guy you were like in awe of. Like, man, he's like beyond man. Like, he's huge. He's like this being.
He's like a messiah.
yeah.
Like,
So to put Oscar Isaac in that role again, we're like, great actor, but just in that,
not right for that role.
not right for that role.
Okay.
Miscast, I feel
Yeah,
like.
100%.
They're not getting these X-Men movies right, but we can go into that another time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
One other villain I want to real quick
Mm-hmm.
X-Men villain that I liked, same era, a little bit later actually, but
Go ahead.
tied into Apocalypse, Mr. Sinister.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really like that villain too.
He was like a genetic dude.
yeah, he liked to
He liked to
mess with he thought he could improve.
the mutant
mutant
gene,
race.
yeah. So he'd add, grab somebody's sperm and somebody's eggs, and then add a little bit of this, add a little bit of that. Boom, you've got this super mutant.
Yeah.
But the super mutant there was always some kind of side effect to him. So he'd be like
Yeah.
this strong, incredibly huge dude, but he'd be like an idiot, or he'd, or
There was like some side effect.
there's always
yeah.
some weird side effect.
It never came out.
Again, it
right.
was a great character and his visually stunning dude.
Yeah,
you know?
and they were like, I think it was at the end of Apocalypse. They threw in a little thing at the end, like they were gonna have him be the next big villain in the next X-Men
Yeah.
movie, and then I think they did away with that idea.
Well, no, Fox just that was
Like
it.
they
Yeah.
decided not to
Yeah.
do, because I think it was the rumor was John Hamm from Mad Men was going to be Mr.
Yeah.
Sinister, and then I don't know what
Okay.
happened, but they did away with that idea.
Interesting
But
villain
there's a
there,
lot
too.
of villains I think that specifically X-Men villains that the movies haven't even used that
Sure.
I would love to see at
Me
some
too.
point.
That's another, and it's a team book, so you have the aspect of the team, and then, their villains are great too. They got a nice little rogues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Anybody else have any guys on the list?
Well, I've got one, but this one ties back to like the early Avengers stuff where Captain America. We talk about him a little bit with some of his rogues, but the Red Skull.
We, you know what?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say.
Holy crap! There's
Yeah.
That's another huge. Again, not a good guy, not an anti-hero. He's just pure evil.
He is. Right.
He's supposed to be like Hitler's right-hand dude.
Yeah.
Which would later they changed and made him like it was more like Hydra. He was
Yeah,
like
that's true.
But that's an old character, Red Skull.
Oh my God!
Oh, yeah, it's from like the
40s,
late 30s
late-
when
yeah.
Captain America
Yeah.
was fighting actually Hitler.
Mhm.
Like,
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Good villain.
Yeah, and what was the story? His face, something happened to his face where it
it's
got
ruined. Like his
ruined.
face is not like normal.
yeah, and it's all red and looks like a skull. Hence the name, the Red Skull.
I don't remember. Did his face catch fire? Like what was the?
I don't
looks
remember
like
to be
original.
honest with you, but I
Yeah.
remember reading early Captain America comic books and just being like, God, this guy's fucking evil. Like he's
Like the old version
trying
of
to
him.
blow up Captain America.
Yeah, the old version of Red Skull. He almost looks like his face looks like a creature.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Okay.
even look like a man. Like it looks like
all disfigured and stuff.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
in the
looks
movies,
inhuman.
the dude from what was the guy's name that played him?
Hugo Weaving.
Great job, man.
Great actor.
Isn't he coming back? Right?
I think so.
Aren't they
I think
bringing
you're
back
right.
that character?
I don't know. I
Because
know.
like he hasn't been in.
No, I have no idea.
I
You
thought
know-
I read like they're gonna bring him back.
I hope so.
some
He's a
point.
great villain.
Like he
Like in a
kinda-
Captain America movie?
What's that?
In a Captain America movie?
No. Well, maybe no, maybe not necessarily Captain America, but like he's gonna be in another Marvel
Huh.
MCU movie. Like
That'd be
soon.
kinda
like
cool.
his character's not gone forever. Like,
Yeah.
he'll come back.
Well, he was in. Was it Civil War or End?
Yeah,
not
he was
Civil
in
War,
one of those-
Endgame, like towards the end,
Yeah.
where he's in that like
Yeah, which I
that
think was
other
kind of like
world
a.
where they went to go get the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin it. I don't know who's watched it or not, but
I mean, it's 3 or 4 years
no.
old
But
now.
did you
Yeah.
guys watch it already?
Oh, I saw it in
Yeah.
the theater when it came
Oh,
out.
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, hey, so you guys.
No,
played
I
it?
saw
haven't
those.
seen it.
I saw like
Sam
Endgame and Infinity War like
hasn't even
opening
finished
night.
WandaVision for crying
Yeah.
out loud. Son of a bee sting.
Yeah. But that was pre-pandemic when we're like,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah.
you go out to the movies like all the
True.
time.
And it was also the previous phase, which I feel I was more up on than this new phase.
I agree too, actually, with that.
Yep. Yeah. So I think I have my list covered for
I do
today.
too. I
Do you-
believe so.
Is there anyone left? I'm looking at my list.
I just went with my like top favorite ones.
Yeah.
The ones that I was like, I got to talk about.
I covered all my favorites, and
I
then
have a couple minor ones.
Yeah,
we don't
throw
have to
some minor ones. Yeah.
talk about them that much. Juggernaut.
Oh yes.
I always
my
loved
God,
Juggernaut.
great.
Yep. Juggernaut.
Just because he was like a total a-hole, like jerk, like
Yeah.
talking shit. Carnage. I liked Carnage.
Yeah.
Great
He was supposed to be kind of like the Joker,
for
where
Marvel.
he's insane.
Yeah.
And then also he has the power of Venom, so that's like double fucking
Double,
money right
like-
there. So he's a Joker
Yeah.
Venom hybrid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cletus Cassidy.
Cletus Cassidy.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that.
And
villain
dude,
a
come
lot
on, with
when
a
they
name like
introduced him.
Cletus, you got to be pretty fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
No offense to all the Cletuses.
It's my uncle's name.
Hey, Cletus Ing.
And then, of course, another supervillain group from the X-Men continuity would be the Brotherhood of Mutants, or
Oh,
Evil
absolutely.
Mutants.
Yeah. So Blob and
Blob.
Toad and
Pyro.
Scarlet Witch
yeah,
at one point.
Scarlet Witch and
Quicksilver.
Pyro, right?
Pyro. Yeah, dude, he's
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were early on. That gang was introduced, I want to say, in the first 5 or 10 issues.
Of X-Men, right?
Of X-Men.
Yeah, in like the late
Yeah.
60s. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another.
Jack Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we can get into him, dude. We can have a podcast on just Jack Kirby's characters alone, and it's.
Galactus was another villain. I
Galactus.
wasn't
Oh.
really into Silver Surfer.
See, I wasn't
but
either.
I always liked Galactus.
Visually, like his costume is just
Yeah,
insane.
pretty
He's got
eats
amazing.
planets.
He's
I
a
mean,
planet, the devourer of planets.
Yeah. Thanos too.
That's
I like
pretty evil.
Thanos.
Thanos,
when
yeah.
they first introduced Thanos.
Thanos is great in the movies. I didn't read, much of the books with Thanos, but pretty badass.
He was like a Silver Surfer villain. Yeah, I didn't read that much either.
Yeah.
His,
I always thought
his
he
agenda in the
visually looked
movies.
cool when he debuted in like 90, 91, whenever that was. I
Yeah.
thought like, oh, who's this guy? Like, I didn't read those comics. Like, I didn't pick them up like weekly or monthly like I did a lot of the other Marvel's comic series. But
Yeah.
that one, like, he looked cool. So when he came out, I was like, oh, this is a cool villain. I'm
Did you know if they followed like his storyline in the movies?
I think
like, from
they
the
did.
comics?
There was called Infinity War, I want to say,
Mhm.
and then it was Infinity Gauntlet.
Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah.
is when he went out, and I think that was your and I era too. We
That's
were
like
collecting comics.
90, 91.
Yeah.
So he's a pretty ruthless bastard.
Yeah,
like
he was collecting those stones from these people to
and
have
all the
this-
sacrifices
Yeah.
that he would make to get those stones.
Yeah,
is pretty
exactly.
fucked
So
up.
they did kind of bring it into the movies, but I don't think they got it. They drew, I would say, 20 or 30%
Yeah.
from the comic, which
Okay.
is what they're doing now. That's how they're getting their ideas.
Yeah.
It's like they've got years and years and years of scripts because they
Yeah.
can just pull it out of the comics. There's at least, 75, 80 years worth of stories?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
There's
Yep.
a lot that they haven't even tapped into yet.
Exactly.
Really evil in the movies.
Yeah.
They did a good job.
Bad.
Josh Brolin did a good job. of
phenomenal
portraying
job.
him.
Excellent job.
But yeah, Thanos is one of those villains that's like pure evil too.
Yeah.
You could say there's no good in him.
No.
like,
Yeah.
None.
none.
Sacrificing
out for
whatsoever.
himself and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you
In
know,
his
we were
own-
talking about villains that aren't maybe truly evil. I feel like Silver Surfer has a lot of villains like that, where they're just like neutral villains that are gods or and sentient beings that are
yeah.
they aren't really actual villains per se, but they may not be good for the planet Earth, so
Right.
they're looked at as a villain.
Sure.
But they're kind of doing their own thing. So
Disrupt the well-being of Earthlings.
yeah.
Yes.
For sure. All right, I guess we'll wrap it up. Wrap it up?
Wrap it up.
I guess we'll wrap it up. So, this has been an amazing podcast. I love that, we did a little offshoot today. And, we listed all of our favorite, top comic book villains.
Yeah.
We don't get a chance to talk about comic books a lot, but
Yeah.
I really feel like what makes a superhero great is a great supervillain.
100%.
And
Definitely.
it really tests like the the psychological and the physical of the superheroes. So
Hence making him a hero.
yeah, absolutely, supervillains. So superheroes would not be superheroes without the supervillains and the amazing storylines that we've been able to read over the years. So
Yes.
that's a wrap for today. Thank
Yeah.
you for joining us. On
Yeah, and
this.
if you guys let us know in the comments, if like on Facebook or on Instagram, who are your favorite villains? Who do you guys like?
Yeah.
Give
or
us
who
drop
did
us a
we
line, or if
forget?
we missed anybody, like, hey,
I know we did.
for sure, tell us
sure
your
we did.
favorite villains.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm assuming at some point we'll probably do
Heroes.
favorite heroes,
Oh,
right?
Of course.
absolutely
Coming
Like
soon.
a sequel to this.
Sequel.
Yes.
A variant cover to
Yeah.
this.
And then we'll see you with the 5 dudes in 2022. See you then.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the 5 Dudes of Views podcast. Be sure to check us out on Apple Podcasts, Libsyn, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and now YouTube. And while you're on there, be sure to download, rate, and subscribe. You can also check us out on Instagram and Twitter at 5 Dudes Views. And we also are on Facebook. Everybody out there, stay safe. Until next time.